James, today is day 2, but it's actually day 1, morning. Oh,
Yeah, I don't want to drink somebody else's coffee. That'd be a terrible start.
who was that?
I don't know.
Well, that's not good.
We ain't even had guests yet.
What's in there? Never mind. We'll leave it. We'll let that be. It's day 2. We this is the first full day.
Set up in a booth.
We're set up in a booth for a
we're
little bit.
relocated.
Yep.
Maybe later we'll move back out. We're going to try to catch some folks, some of our vendor friends that are in here, bring them on today, and really just kind of play it by ear and see who comes by like we always do.
And I'm going to say, even already this morning, there has been a lot of interaction at the booth, a lot of people asking questions, people that have sought us out. Is it a bevy? I was going to use that term, but I didn't want to.
No,
but
there's been a lot of interest, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about it in the hall sometimes, especially when there's downtime. When
Yeah.
we're opposed, which is actually happening as we speak. I think the people are walking out. There's not a lot going on, and so when the show's going on, people tend to migrate over and watch. Why wouldn't you want to watch?
No, it's a fun little part. You know, we have the backs are lit up. When you walk by the exhibit hall, people see us right away. We have a beautiful branded booth, and it's fun having people just hang by and congregate right out here in the aisles. And
People are eating breakfast right here.
I mean, it's early. It's not even 8 o'clock yet. So,
full day today, big event tonight, and then
Bourbon Street
another
balcony
full
event
day.
Tomorrow. Another full day for
Another full day.
for me on Thursday. I give a presentation from 2 to 3 on Thursday, so I'm going full that day, which is good though.
Some
That's
good sessions today.
Oh, there's
I'm
some.
gonna try to catch the PHMSA updates this morning.
Our friend Lane Miller is giving one at 10 a.m. this morning, so I'm excited for that. I'm going to go heckle him.
Yep, tons of good content. Already seeing some new people, some new faces show up today. Some people that weren't able to make it in last night. So, we got some live recording to do here.
Oh, we do, yeah.
I think we're going to grab Monique from Pods. That should be cool.
That'll be great.
Yeah,
that'll be really good.
So we'll see.
Well, let me ask you a question.
All right.
Last night, you know, after the end, you and I got a chance to sit down and just decompress a little bit. What did you think of the charbroiled oysters?
Oh, that was good. I'm always a fan here.
Okay,
You know, it's
all right.
my first LGA event, but it's not my first.
No,
time
not your first. You spent a lot of time here.
Yeah.
In your
Sign
past
me
life,
up. Yeah.
you
I'm gonna find that place too. That's my goal.
near Slidell. He was telling me about a place near Slidell.
I can ask somebody. They'll text me back like that. Overall, first day, I'm really impressed with the attendance.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. Over 600
blown away,
attendees, not including the vendors, is what I heard.
I'm excited to see how many people walk up and register as well. I think we'll see, an uptick today. I'd be surprised if we don't see 700-800 people here in total.
And I think that's why.
Very respectable.
And I don't know if I told you, but in the past, we used to do it with the LGA, and I sit on some committees. Used to do 192 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Wednesday afternoon switch it over to 195 Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So you had people leaving and coming midweek, and now it's all intertwined, which is great. So the 192 and 195 natural gas and oil pipelines get to talk and collaborate. So it's a busy week.
Sometimes you think they're so different, but really when you boil it all down, it ends up, what do we have? We have projects.
Yep.
We have, that need to be managed. We have people we need to lead. We have innovation and technologies coming out that, and man, if we can learn from each other, let's all get in the room.
That's what this is about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy, we got a full day.
I'm ready. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Bring some people on.
Let's do it, brother. All right.
We'll be back.
And we are back. James, we had an incredible Louisiana lunch.
We did. Charbroiled oysters.
That's what we had. That and we had some gator
Oh,
and a wedge salad. It was good.
He had the wedge salad. I did the gumbo, the seafood gumbo. I said, when in Nola, do as a Nolians.
That's right.
So
Oysters,
we ran.
They were good.
We did.
In the butter.
2 loaves of bread.
I mean, we kept getting more bread. And they looked at James. They said, "Are you watching your carbs?" And I said, "No, don't worry about him. He's okay."
We've got our calculator out, calculating. We are carved up and ready to go.
We just jumped in.
And we
No, we didn't do anything. We just started talking about food.
did, but that's okay. we ran into Tim on the escalator, and I said, last time we saw Tim, he was with Jack Cordry from LSCS at EWN Tailgate Week. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. Okay, I had to get in my head. We have had so many events lately, but it was good seeing you, Tim. Welcome to
same
the
here.
show.
Tim, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Tim Beck with Rainmaker Sales. So we're a distributor of George Fisher. We have all the equipment and stuff for polyfusion, and then we're also a distributor for McElroy. So butt fusion, socket, all that good stuff. We can provide all that equipment for you. So
Very, very good. We're at LGA this week.
yep, LGA.
Is this a conference? We're at the Pipeline Safety Conference. Is this a conference itself that is near and dear to your heart, or a new one for you? What's the situation?
Actually, I came when I was at Sunbelt Marketing before I came to Rainmaker. We're just trying to build relationships with Atmos and Centerpoint and
Yep.
some of the other companies, and just let them know that we're out there and we can supply them with equipment, and of course we can do some repair. We're a full repair service center for McRoy and for George Fisher, so we can repair equipment and help them with that. stuff too.
Maintain it,
Yes,
repair it,
maintain, yes.
all of the above. Interesting. That's
Yep.
good to know.
Yep.
Let's see, this is a tracer connection too, because that piece falls into the whole tracer world. So,
Yep.
And where are you out of? Tim?
We're out of Shawnee, Oklahoma.
oh boy, who's Randall Rogers is out of there,
Yep,
isn't
Randall
he?
Rogers. Yep. And we're also the Care Test distributor. So if you need a poly valve or anything from Care Test, we can supply that too. So
We've heard him. I think
Name drop.
everybody
love
knows
it.
Randall Rogers.
everybody does. He's
got lots of
infamous.
stories.
Oh, he's got tons of stories. We
had
had him on.
last night.
Yep.
Did you?
Yeah, out in the main hall. Yep.
That was one of the best interviews that we had.
Very emotional. He started to bring up Danny Nichols, and Randall got a little choked up, and rightfully so.
All did.
Yeah, we did.
Right.
Absolutely.
He's a good guy.
Well, Tim, thanks for coming on.
You bet.
Hope
Thanks
you
for
have a good
having me.
rest of the show.
Hey, we
Easy peasy.
will. That's right.
No,
We're
thank
gonna-
you for joining us. We appreciate it. 2022, we will speak of it again, won't we? When we saw Nathan, or as we like to say, Nate Sills walking down the aisle, James and I both said, we need you on the podcast.
It's that shirt.
I said, let's do it.
Like everyone
Hadn't
wore
worn it
blue
in a while.
today, and he chose to stand out.
Red.
That's right.
Now tomorrow when everybody wears red, what are you going to wear?
Blue.
Blue.
Trendsetter, sets a tone. Nathan, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Hey, I'm Nathan Seals. I work with Magnolia River, Vice President of Strategic Accounts, and work all in the gas industry, and just love it and love you guys. You guys do a great
Would you
job.
consider our podcast a strategic account?
I would say that yes, in a perfect world, yes, it would be a strategic account, especially if it fell under me.
It is our strategic account. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm
It
good with
is.
it.
There is a strategy behind this. There really is.
Heard about
I
it.
agree. Y'all
Somewhere
are
on
doing
a
good.
napkin.
Now
Nathan,
sealed.
I have a special question for you.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I want to just. Is there anything going on over there at Magnolia we need to know about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
I mean,
new?
Anything new? What's new, my friend?
Yeah, we're just enjoying the growth that we're having right now. You know, despite all of the limitations that we get with supply constraints and you know, all those other things, we're doing a lot of things with our technology. And one of the big things that we're doing right now that is really exciting for me is a digital leak inspection.
Okay. Digital leak inspection.
Yeah.
Unwrap that for us. What does that mean?
So we use our Flow GIS software to track our group that does leak inspections. So we breadcrumb, we mark all the leaks with GPS, task all the follow-ups that go along with that. And then when we're done with the leak inspection, we deliver it to the client, and they're able to follow up and manage all of their leak processes with it.
Okay.
It's just as part of the process, that's what we do.
It's got to be huge coming into a session this morning about Section 114
Yep.
and the changes coming down with
Right.
that. That's got to be a good setup.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do it the right way, you got to be able to prove that you did it.
No doubt.
Right.
And then, you know, you go back and as you work through those things, You do a third of the system in the business district every year. You build a map. So if you don't have a GIS map, in 3 years you're going to have one. I mean, you know
You're
what
gonna
side
have
of the
one
road
in
it's on,
night.
those type of things. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. Nathan, we're at LGA.
Yep.
Look, I mean, y'all know whether y'all been here before. I asked the question
Once
like
or
I know better.
twice.
Right?
And
I
we miss you if you're
Allegedly.
not here. Come on.
know, right? It's my first time here.
Oh, really?
I've been asking people, is there any, not New Orleans tips. I've
No,
been to
no.
New Orleans plenty of times. I'm just saying, any tips for this conference? Anything about this that makes it special?
Yeah, it's been different in the past, but this year there's a lot of people here.
There are.
And it hadn't happened
So
in a
cool.
while. I would say stay out of the casino. Um, they should wear a gun and a mask over there. But, just be with your people. Make sure you got a good group around. Go eat some good food, redfish, all that good stuff, gumbo if you like it. Go for it.
All right, brother.
Yeah, man.
As
Always
always,
good to see you,
our
brother.
friends at Magnolia River, Nate and
Good to
I go
see
way
y'all.
back. It's good to have you on, brother.
Yep. Thank y'all.
We'll be back. James, as you can already tell, we're having a bevy of an industry conversation. We're bringing in pipelines. We're bringing in fusion bonded epoxies.
Hey, this is
I'm
one
excited.
of those rare times
Yes.
when we have three Jameses all in a row.
James, and Jim, but officially a James. So, oh, geez, I did it.
Randall, where's Randall?
And a
With
Justin.
this-
We got a
with
Justin
this,
in the.
double printing.
Yeah.
We were recording live. Yeah. See, people question whether we plan all this. We don't.
We know. We run right by the cuff.
We just go with it.
Yes, sir.
We are here with a rare occurrence of James's.
James's and
What's the plural of James's?
James.
Oh, James.
Right? I don't
like
know.
beer?
It's like kangaroo. I don't know. Whatever.
Welcome to the show, James.
Thanks, sir.
James Bug.
Yes, sir.
Just like it. Just
That-
like it's spelled.
If
B-U-G-G.
somebody yells out James, I probably don't look. If someone yells out Bug, I start looking around.
You start to look at that?
Yes, sir. I do.
So,
James, do us a favor if you don't mind. Let our audience know the full introduction of the James Bug.
So I've been with Spot Tracker LLC, based out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. We've been started out in 2013, so we've been around for a while, and we are a field level data collection platform. So basically, we're a software that you're going to use on pipeline projects. We track any assets, and that can be anything from cap screw to a washer to nuts and bolts to a solar panel to a slug catcher. Anything you can imagine in a facility or a pipeline, we have the ability to track those particular assets. We also upload the MTRs to those particular assets, so you have your mill test reports attached to every single asset you have. You had a FIMS audit, somebody walked up, you would have that information at your fingertips immediately. We also do, as far as inspection forms, we digitize an inspection form. So what you're used to seeing on a sheet of paper, we actually do what's called mapping. So we map it over. Inspector will fill it out on an iPad, iPhone, or an Android device. And then what the customer is going to get in the end is that exact same form that they would have received originally, but much more legible. Because I would say from a legal standpoint, looking at something that's very legible and not trying to decipher what someone meant
yeah,
is
definitely.
a big deal. And what we take from those inspection forms, we're able to do project progress. So we can take your schedule and from your forms track whether it's stringing, whether it's ditching, whether you're ahead, whether you're behind, not to mention unit pay items. So it's just a full suite for an entire pipeline project, as well as just tracking any type of asset.
And that's where our conversation started before 8 a.m. this morning with James seeking us out. And a shout out to, is it Kelsey Hester?
Yes, sir.
All right, Kelsey, shout out to you for telling
Closet
James.
listener, apparently. Not
Obviously,
anymore.
no, we're gonna come.
We're outing you.
I actually tried to add her.
Keep spreading
Yep.
the gospel.
So we came up and we started to connect the dots where Tracer, our Energy World Net platform product, does a lot of those items above the ground. Let's just call it on the equipment to be working on the things that you're tracking. So James came up and said, "Hey, I want to connect the dots because I understand that we do synergetic things in a little bit different way. So I'm glad you stopped by today. That was a very informative uh, recap. I know we have not a lot of time for much. I mean, we could go a half hour is what I'm trying to say.
I think we may have to do an asset, episode.
I think
To
so.
look at assets from all angles.
And really dive out, peel back the onion, as we say, and dive down deep into it to really show. Because James just scratched the surface, and there's so much more. Your world is very interesting to me. Spot Tracker,
Yes,
folks.
sir.
How do they go? What's your website?
Spot Tracker, or it's spottracker.com.
That's
so
it.
If you're looking for us, you can find us on LinkedIn. You can find our website as well. You can set up anyone want information, want a demo, go to our website. You can set up a demo from there.
Spottracker.com, or give him a call. He's on LinkedIn. We connected this morning.
James, it's
Thanks,
nice
James.
to get to
Glad
know
to call you our
We'll see
friend
around.
now.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. We'll be right back. James, I'm standing here. Sarah walks by, and at first I'm looking at her, I'm like, I recognize her. She recognized me. She's smiling. She comes around the corner. She goes, "Do you remember me?" And I'm like, "Maybe." And she's like, "Lord and Winter, David Winter, her CEO, said to say hi. I remembered her. She's on the environmental side. We connected. We remembered the times of David and Sarah at conferences. We all, we were kind of on the same circuit together. And the interesting thing about Lord and Winter, when I first met David, I said, "Okay, you're Winter, David Winter. Who's the Lord of Lord and Winter?" He's like, "You just said it." I'm like, "Well, who's the Lord?" He's like, "You just said it." I'm like, again, who's the Lord of Lord and Winter? The Lord. That's how he named his company. Very interesting.
It is.
Anyways,
It is.
Sarah, please introduce yourself. Tell the. I already said a lot about your company, but tell them about your aspect in the company, please.
Yeah. So I'm Sarah Lewis, and I don't know where I was looking.
That's all right.
What do I do with my hands?
I'm Sarah Lewis, and I work for Lord and Winter. We are an environmental consulting firm. So we have both a kind of geology side and a natural resource side, and I'm primarily on the natural resource side. Although I do dabble a little bit on the geology side as needed. So part of our work in regards maybe to the pipeline conference is we do environmental permitting. And we also do wetland delineations and endangered species surveys. We do Corps of Engineers Section 10 and 404 permitting. So say you're wanting to put in a pipeline, but you have a wetland area or a water course that you're going to be crossing, or you need to impact to be able to put your pipeline in, we permit that. So we are we like to show you the way through the permitting process.
Gotcha. You would be our leader
You're
in that.
our guide.
Yes.
What a brand.
Oh.
The brand story that I
Yes.
love. I like it. Got it. I'm there.
That is
That
our
makes-
goal.
I was not confused. I was really listening
I
to
know
the
you
whole
kinda
thing.
had this look
Well,
on your
because
face.
I've never heard this part. I was going to ask some of the questions that you went ahead and answered. So it's a chunk of it all I don't quite understand yet. So
Well-
this was really interesting. I was leaning in.
I think it's a very interesting aspect to the industry. Again, there's a lot of ways to do things, but just having a path and an understanding of that path sometimes
Well,
takes experts.
I immediately obviously went to Louisiana and why it would
Oh,
be
yes.
important here, places like Florida and things like that. To where
Wetlands.
You have a lot more impact to things. Being from Texas, it seems odd that would be, a lot of. I'm sure you have a ton of business. I'm just saying.
Oh, well, I was gonna say in
it's
Texas,
harder to
too.
relate in comparison to somewhere else.
Right, but also because you brought up Texas, so like Texas has state requirements also for different permits, and so the state of Tennessee, which is where we're headquartered, is they have state waters. So just like you have to get a Corps permit, you have to get a state of Tennessee permit as well.
Very interesting. Very
So-
interesting. See, I'm telling you, I like
We're-
this
we're
stuff.
learning
I keep
something-
putting it all together in my little mind.
Like the pieces of the puzzle.
So LGA, are you a long-time LGA or a short-term, like you just been here?
So we've probably been part of LGA for at least. Well, I was at that conference in Cyprus, Bend 3 years ago, right before COVID, I guess.
That was in
So-
2019. Yes, October
at least-
2019.
Right. So I've been involved at least on the exhibitor side for at least 3 or 4 years. I'm not sure if how long we've been members, but we're definitely members now. So.
I remember you back at the Crown Plaza when we used to hold the LGA there. So it's been probably 4 or 5 years or so.
Now I've been with the company for 5 years, so yeah, so
Yeah.
probably around then.
Oh, that's
Well,
great.
Sarah, thank you so much.
Yes,
Thanks
it
for
was
joining
very
us.
nice.
You
Of
jumped
course.
right on. You jumped
Oh,
right on.
thank you.
Smile. We'll be back.
Justin, which we just met, we had a bevy of different conversations with him and our last guest, James Bugg. Are the
Can't
mics
use
on?
bevy anymore today.
That was it.
No one knows
Done.
what that means.
Welcome to the show, Justin.
Would shake. All right.
We'd shake this.
Wait, are you
We'll do
green?
it again.
I am green. I am green. I am.
Okay, yeah, we got to make sure.
Also green.
Yep.
Justin, we just met you. Our audience would like to meet you.
Yeah,
Could you do me a
yeah.
favor and just introduce yourself
absolutely.
and who you work for
Yep.
and so forth?
So I'm a client representative for Inspection Associates out of Cypress, Texas. My name's Justin Coward. Been in this business for about my 23rd year. So my job now is I'm putting technology inspection in front of the client with a different investment. I've been in business for a long time. I worked for the gas company, was an inspector, so now I'm on this side, putting the project together.
Okay. Well, and give us a typical day in how you help your clients to become better and safer. What do you implement to help them do
absolutely. So our client would ask us, maybe give us a scenario what they're trying to do. Maybe it's a budget cost. They have money to burn. Third quarter scenario, we got excess money.
that? Okay.
And I would come in and fit that. Okay, what kind of inspectors you need? How many can you utilize? So proficiency. How can they be proficient with that budget that they have left? So, and then of course at the same time we can come in at that point and then gear up for the next year. Just kind of, especially the new engineers that are coming out in the field, they don't always have it down right, and it's easier to turn to somebody like me and kind of get it. Everybody, says turnkey, but then again, turnkey needs to be turnkey.
Well, and especially turnkey when you're dealing with the human aspect can be very interesting because
Correct.
you just can't turn a key on a human and have them proficient in everything. Real briefly, though, your footprint, where does your company reach to? Are you all over the United
All
States?
over the United States. Yep.
Okay.
So we're from right now. We're currently in California, throughout Texas, throughout the Northeast. Pretty good footprint in Minnesota. If you were talking about Wisconsin, that area.
Oh, yeah, don't you know? Yeah,
don't you
you heard a
know?
little accent
Michigan,
before.
yeah, Michigan, on down the East Coast. So yeah.
You said you're from Cypress?
Well, that's where Inspection Associates is based out of
okay,
Cypress, Texas. Yep. But I am from Texas, yes.
Where do you live right now?
Conroe, Texas.
Oh, you do live in
I
Conroe.
do, yeah.
Oh, I know Conroe well.
Yeah, but I travel quite a bit, don't you know?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I travel quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna go up there and get a little cheese curd. Yeah, sure.
No, my deal is perch.
Okay,
Perch.
walleye. Do you have a little fried walleye up there?
Yeah, I do, but perch is
Better?
hard to get past, yeah.
Okay,
For
all
me.
right, all right.
Oh, we're learning a lot today.
We can go full Minnesota right now. Let me tell
can,
you.
we can.
I don't even know
yeah.
what y'all are talking about. Y'all
So-
talking about fish?
We're talking about
Talking
fish,
about
walleye
yeah,
fish.
we had to break the monotony of pipeline, right?
I've never caught a walleye in my life.
I haven't
Oh,
either.
walleye sandwiches up in Minnesota are a staple.
I haven't caught one either. I've eaten them.
I've never eaten one.
Walleye is a staple up there.
Not that I know.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I do appreciate y'all introducing yourself. I know we had the unscripted off the.
Oh
camera
no,
here.
you're great. You're
So-
great.
So
Yeah.
that was appreciated. I have not heard of you guys, so I appreciate y'all stepping in here and
We hear that a lot.
introducing
Well,
yourself.
we have 3 listeners right now.
Yeah?
So, well,
Two
no,
of them are
we're-
here.
yeah,
5 total.
So, no, we've been, yeah,
We're doing the best we can.
we're trying.
Yeah.
Hey, we appreciate you coming on
sure.
board.
Yeah, appreciate
Have a
it.
good show. Man, LGA, how about this?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good to see y'all guys.
Absolutely.
Right back.
Mike, thank you for joining us. You have a
Glad to be
call
here.
in 8 minutes.
I do, yeah.
So,
We gotta move
that,
this along. You do have a voice for a podcast.
Oh yeah?
oh, he does
I've
have
got a
that.
face for radio too.
Sing.
We hear that. That's us.
Do that all the time.
That's us.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Mike Lewis. I'm responsible for business development for National Underground, which is an umbrella of companies. We've got 2 here that really kind of touch this business. One is involved with public locating.
Okay.
That's primarily an East Coast business that's geographically growing west, and we work with gas utilities and other companies that are looking to do professional sole source locating. Right.
Okay.
So we take care of our customers in really help out with their damage claims and so on there. So really do a top-notch job there. And then the other part of our business is we do cross-bore inspections.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got robots crawling around the sewer system looking for crossbores. So let's get those out.
And just let me just jump in here quick.
Yeah.
Crossbore is a common term for us in the industry, but for those that don't know it, explain it real quick what happens if you could.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. So as most things are being installed in the infrastructure underground these days, they're being installed using a horizontal drilling technology where they're
HDD,
being bored
Yep.
underground. So we locate and mark the different lines that are there. But the problem is sewer lines don't have tape. They're really hard to mark and locate in advance. So it's common, unfortunately, that in that horizontal directional drilling, that you could very well have a cross bore.
So you could have a sewer line,
Right.
and then you could have a gas line going through it and not knowing it
Absolutely.
until there's blockage. And when there's blockage and they send down an auger into it, they could rip that gas line apart. And what happens,
And
Spike?
you could have a catastrophic failure. And there's lots of examples of homes and shopping centers having an explosion, a gas explosion due to that.
It's very serious.
So it's a very serious thing. And so we see our guys that are looking for that. That we throw a robotic camera down into the sewer system and look for that. We see them as first responders, really trying to prevent an incident or an accident before it really happens. So we work with largest gas utilities and contractors that are doing that installation work and going back through their legacy systems to search for and find crossbores and identify them.
It's important.
Yeah, it's life-saving. So we're glad to be here. Hey, guys, thank you very much. Appreciate
Mike,
it, Jim.
appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah,
Check them
awesome
out.
time. Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, ready?
Landry, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Very
Are you excited to be here?
Very
Speaking of Landry, where is Dave Landry right now, and where is Bryce? Why aren't they here? What did they say?
Well, Bryce said he felt like I could talk better, so he sent me over here instead. Dave, I don't know where he is. So,
I think they're just hiding from me.
probably.
I think they're just hiding from me.
No.
Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do. Give us a little high level overview.
So I'm Landry Carbo. I'm with System Services Pipeline. We are a contractor for Atmos Energy and CenterPoint Energy. So we do construction.
Client.
They are very much of a client.
Valued client.
Yes, they are. We threw them off. That's
So,
right.
I can give you the whole history real quick
Please,
because
go for
we're a family-run company. My dad started the company in 1987 doing telecommunication work, and continued with that until about 2001 when we changed names from System Services of Louisiana to System Services Broadband and continued our growth. And around 2015, speaking of Bryce, through some connections of his, we got into gas pipeline work. And that work, just through a series of happenstances, grew on its own. And in 2017, we spun off System Services Pipeline, and we've continued to grow since then, and all the way through COVID and everything.
And so you grew up in the business.
I did grow up in the business. When I was 5, I was shredding papers for my mom. When I
Learning
was
by osmosis.
I love it.
It's amazing.
That's
amazing.
fantastic.
So have you been involved with the LGA for a while?
yeah, since I joined in full time to the company in 2017, I've been coming to the shows every year and participating.
Enjoy it?
Yeah, it's always good to meet people, see what the new products are. Rub the elbows where you got to, and have good dinners and all that.
As they say, elbow to elbow and knees to knees,
Knees to
and
knees. That's where all the business takes
business
place.
gets done. It gets
When
done.
you're knee to knee with people. Well, this
Yeah.
is my first time here.
Yeah, he's a
So
newbie.
I'm new here. I've heard lots of great things about it.
And what did you say about the show today?
Oh, I love it. I love the amount of people here.
He said it's the best show he's been to all year.
Oh,
That's what
for
he
sure.
said.
100%.
Yeah.
Biggest one
No
for sure.
offense to everybody
Yeah.
else. I've really enjoyed it. The sessions are awesome. I love how it's not just folks from Louisiana here. I think that says a lot about the association and the effort put in to reaching outside of our state, outside of this state to impact even more folks. So I love that part of it. Any advice to give me on this event or Louisiana as a whole? I'm in.
Well, Louisiana as a whole, we can get into a whole other podcast.
Careful.
But
Yeah, that might be an hour long.
After hours.
but as far as As far as the show, go to the after party functions. They're a ton of fun. Mark LeBlanc with EGW hosts a great after party. That'll be going on tonight.
We
The
know a
Tracer,
co-sponsor.
the Tracer, that's actually one of my babies, and we're sponsoring that. So we are going to be there together, my friend.
But yeah, to meet, make sure you go meet all your customers and all that. Rub the elbows and enjoy it. It's a good time for everybody.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate the
you being
business as
on.
well.
Absolutely.
We'll be
We're
back.
back. James, we are back. Jonathan was swinging by, and we pulled him in, and we're like, "Do you want to be on?" He's like, "Sure, why not?" And then James goes, "Well, do you guys know each other?" And I'm like, we looked at each other and like, "Oh, we know each other." It goes back to 2017, 16, 15, and even before. But in 2017, are we okay?
Oh, red. There we go.
All right.
Oh, it's your shirt.
It's a shirt, probably.
I love it.
Go ahead, tell the story about. Yeah.
So in 17, we were walking down Bourbon Street.
Give your wife's name to the.
Jacqueline Kimbrell. And there was a group of about 7 of us that night, and we were coming back, and we weren't out very late.
No.
She stepped off of a curb wrong and tripped and fell, broke her sandal, and fell down to the ground in a white dress, and none of us saw her fall. So that made it even worse because she was instantly upset that no one tried to help her. And she got up the next morning, and her knee hurt just slightly. So she went down to Walgreens, was like, "I'm going to get an ace bandage, something to take care of it," and squatted down and ripped all of the cartilage in her knee when she squatted down for the bandage.
In the Walgreens.
In the Walgreens, like fell out. So then we had to take her to
emergency.
Emergency care center here, and they gave her like minor pain pills and said, "Oh, you got to follow up with your regular doctor." So we got back, and the doctor got to looking at it, did the MRI, and said, "Oh, well, you tore cartilage, but you got a problem. You have a birth defect where you only have half the cartilage in your knee to begin with." So he gave us a 50-50 chance of them going in and cleaning it up, making it better. They're just a orthoscopic surgery. Well, he went in and cleaned it, and then the kneecap wouldn't stay in line. And she didn't have enough cartilage, so we had a second surgery for a partial knee replacement, and she got it like 6 months later, and it squeaked like a dog toy. It's not supposed to happen. I got a video of it. She would bend it, and it squeaks like a dog toy every single
cut to
time.
that video. I'm just kidding.
No.
So then she became this giant medical phenomenon, because never in the history of 500,000 of these artificial knees has one ever squeaked.
So okay, wait. A year later, we show back up at LGA 2018, and I see everybody we're happening. She has a knee brace on or something at that time. A year
That
later,
was the first replacement.
and I'm like, what is going on? And then I get filled in on this. So we've known each other for years, and it's nice that she comes with you because she is always. I'm not
She's
gonna
a
say.
legend.
I'm not gonna say you're not the life of the party, but she is very bubbly and
Well,
always
she,
is.
she definitely picked up my slack when I was on the operations side.
Well, give
was-
the folks a little history. What you do now.
So-
Jumped right
Yeah,
in.
you tell people what you do.
So
Straight into
for
the
a
story.
number of years, I ran a small utility, and I managed the water, wastewater, and natural gas side of it, and I actually used EWN's products, we had swapped from a third-party contractor that provided us with the O&M, not the O&M, the OQ programs and everything like that, and I
notice
couldn't.
Not to be mentioned.
Did you notice his hat? Anyways, did you notice that?
These are our
Always
favorite
right.
hats.
Yeah.
And,
Let me give you about 16.
Yeah, but so I swapped over to EWN. We went with the B31Q style.
Yep.
We modified all of our cover task lists and everything directly to my company, and all with the help of Energy WorldNet, and we got it specifically set to us. And I did that for a number of years, and now I swapped over to the Alabama Public Service Commission as an inspector. And I came in as a regular, moved to a senior, and now I'm a supervisor. And hopefully in the near future, I might be a director. But we got to see that process play out.
And who-
I love that he says a number of years. So you were 5 when you started? I don't
No,
understand.
I'm
No
actually
way.
fixing to be 39, and
So he was 5.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
um,
He grew up in the industry.
Wow.
well, it was funny because growing up, we did heavy equipment. My family did logging in a furniture store, a hand carved mahogany
Oh,
furniture store.
nice.
So we were expected to work from little kids. So I can run a loader to load out log trucks when I was 5. And we just thought we were playing on big equipment, having the time of our life. And my uncle and grandfather were like, "We got free labor." So that's what we did the whole time growing up.
So,
Same.
Not to that degree, but
Yeah.
yes, I was definitely that.
And he works with Randall Hand, who we met yesterday. And Randall, I have to say this publicly, you have asked me to be there in December in Montgomery. I'm going to try my best, publicly saying I'm going to try my best because I have missed a couple
We need to
times.
be there.
Yeah, we do. So,
Yeah, so I went into the Army, did electronic warfare, got out of the Army. I actually worked at a Hyundai plant when it opened in Andalusia, Alabama, but when the Hyundai moved to Alabama, because I could program the robots and had a welding background from working on heavy equipment. So I did that, but I only did that for 6 months. I was doing 16 hours a day as the assistant plant manager, and I just got married, and I came home one night, and my wife, my starter wife, told me, you can either have that job or you can have me. And
you said
I
you
went
took
to,
the job?
no, I
Oh.
should have. I took a different job. I went to welding inside nuclear power plants for 2 years. And then in '08, when the Great Recession hit, the federal government pulled our contract and put all of us out on the street. And that's when I got into
Do you hear the
utilities.
experience that he has? You got Jonathan, and you're
At
just
12,
thinking,
I started welding in a nuclear reactor.
So, but we only did structural at the nuclear power plant, and we actually built air duct, but it was 40 foot by 40 foot tall and wide, and it ran 1.2 miles in one direction and 1.2 miles in the other direction, and it was 100% seal weld for the cooling air to be sucked in
This
and blow
was
back
the
out.
air duct itself
Yeah.
was that large.
So that's
Imagine
how
that.
it was, but it was in pieces that were 16 foot deep and all, and they were 40 foot wide and 20 foot tall, and you would mirror them together, one on
Can we
top of
just
the
have
other.
you back on later to tell
Yeah,
us all these
we
stories?
need
Like,
more.
We need 60
So-
We
to
need more.
70 minutes.
So it was crazy when I came to pipeline, when I actually come to the inspection side, not the operation side, because we were so small, we used plastic for everything.
Sure.
And I watched a welder for the first time weld downhill. I was like, "That you can't do that," and because it wasn't allowed in the nuclear industry, even on structure,
Right.
let alone pipelines. And then to come to the pipeline side and everybody's welding downhill, I was like, y'all playing with fire over here. And they're like, "Oh no, we just got better lobbying people that allowed us to keep doing it."
Well, I tell you what, though, this is the type of person that I actually
I wanna have
respect.
dinner with.
Well, I
Breakfast
respect in
with.
the industry because he has all this vast industry, and he's bringing safety aspects from the nuclear industry as well as maybe military, maybe some other things, and bring it together for. I'm gonna call it best practices to say what's safe, and I commend you for that,
Thank you,
Jonathan.
sir.
I think we have to have you back on, okay? And we're gonna get Randall
I
on.
think
Yeah,
we just need a whole episode just to talk about cool stuff.
yeah, that is cool stuff. That's like MacGyver stuff that he's talking
I love
about. MacGyver meets the mentalist. That's
Jonathan, anything that you're looking forward to at this conference?
There is a couple of presentations. So my state doesn't normally touch on liquids.
okay.
But, there's a couple of liquids presentations coming up and a couple of rule change presentations that I'm looking forward to.
Oh yeah, that would be
to get
important.
it's always nice to get a different aspect and have different speakers get up and give their background, say this is what we think is going to happen, or this is how we think it can be addressed through a new rule. Because the biggest thing that I see as an inspector is operators see the code requirement that they must do this, and a lot think that there's only a single way to do it, when in reality there's 10 to 15 possibilities of how you accomplish that code requirement.
And you might be doing one.
And that's
All
it.
right.
You might be doing one, but there might be a better one from someone else's perspective. So anytime that we can get together with industry folks and everybody can talk about, well, this is how I do it, and this is how I do it, you can actually get the best practice or the best method and kind of modify.
That emulates everything I was trying to say
That's why we
yesterday.
need to have him on.
Seriously, but
Talk
that
about
everything you were just talking about, I was trying to say it last night when we started. That's why people come here, is to understand that and to understand those rules and how we can disseminate it out
And
for safety, number one, and best practices.
And the best thing about these conferences is the socializing, to where you can do mutual aid, to where if you have a problem when you're outside the conference, you've met a person from another operator that you feel confident in their response, and you can call them up on the phone and say, hey, I'm not asking for the exact documentation, I just want to have a guideline of how are y'all doing it, how are you addressing it, how did you look at it. And that's the best thing, is being able to get mutual assistance and just have those contacts within the industry.
You know, sometimes people are so scared of them inspectors, and you know what I mean. And I love sitting down and talking and hearing things like mutual aid and reaching across the line and really just being. I don't. It's all about being better. It doesn't matter, right? It's
Yeah.
lessons learned, and it's moving onward.
And I think you're right. I think that perception of inspectors can be intimidating or whatever. Jonathan gives the aspect that it's
I
like,
want to give this guy a hug.
yeah, I
don't know.
mean,
I don't
he
even
wants
know.
he wants to teach people. He
Well,
wants to educate them.
is we give the guidance and give them their options. We can never tell them what to do, but we can say, hey, we've seen it these multiple ways and stuff like that. And the one thing that was real big is when I came over to the inspection side is during our X interview when we closed up is we expressed that we're not here to have an adversarial role. We're here as advocates to help promote a company to produce the safest, best practice that they can produce. So we tell them all the time, if you have a question and you call me, I'm never going to jump in my agency vehicle to run over there to write a violation.
Right.
I would much rather them call and ask and us give some guidance and them make the changes on their own, and then we verify
That's a great thing to
the,
hear. Just
the
for,
things once we go in for their inspection and see the improvements that they're making on their own, rather than for us to just show up and say, oh, you did it wrong and here's a violation.
And how does that happen? It happens through trust and him giving his word, and by people hearing it in the industry that, hey, I had this question. I called up Jonathan or Randall or somebody, and they didn't come over and just slap my hand. They said they gave me some
worked
guidance.
with
Yeah,
Love it.
that is what we want because we want everybody to be working together.
It should promote a standard within the industry that we're always working to be safer and better at what we do. It should never be
That's
we're
what
trying
we say,
to issue
right?
a fine.
That's what we say all
Right.
the time.
And
so
I
it's
don't.
great to
I
live
mean,
by.
there's times that you should fine. There's times that you should give them guidance and stuff like that. But we should always foster an environment for a safer work environment.
Amen to that. What more can you say?
Nice to meet you, brother.
Thanks, brother.
Y'all have a great morning.
Yeah,
All
we're
right,
gonna
you
get you back on. I swear, I want to spend
Yeah.
30 minutes just talking about nonsense, the walleye, and what y'all like to eat. I don't care. I just want to hang out with him.
He's a great guy, and every year I just love getting together. His wife is wonderful. We all
What
have
a
a good
legend.
time. Oh,
That's
she
it.
is.
So I'm an LSU fan because I was a military brat. So I lived in Alabama, and it was all Alabama fans, and it was the craziest thing. I kind of laugh at them because they go into grocery stores and yell "Roll Tide" on the day of games, and we call it the Alabama mating call.
Oh,
so
yeah,
they
yeah.
can find their closest family member to start dating.
Oh,
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on.
public record. Yeah.
And so we make fun of them. When I was an operator in Alabama, every conference I went to, I always had something purple or gold on. And then when I came over to the inspection side and worked for the state, I can't wear anything that's affiliated with the team. And then I cut down on my partying. Well, I married my wife shortly before I came to the inspection side, and she picked up my slack. She is the most people-in-this person
she
on the
knew
face of the
it.
earth.
She's a yin to my yang, but she's
love it.
like I saw her yesterday, and I think she screamed my name, yelled, and gave me a virtual hug, and gave me the thumbs up. Oh, we were in line, checking into the hotel. Oh, it's great. It's great.
We're gonna have to get a signed waiver from her anyway because of the story we told earlier.
I think we do. She's a trooper. Thanks, brother.
Thank y'all.
Absolutely. Yeah,
We'll be
yeah.
right back.
We are back again. Look at we have now
Fans cheering from the
handlers bringing people on. Look at people are cheering right now for you. I don't know if they're cheering. Maybe they're ready to throw something. He's got something in his hand.
It's about to fire it at you. We'll
Josh.
see how well we do.
Yeah, Josh, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell a little bit what you do, your company, and what your guys' specialty is.
Sure, thank you. My name's Josh Brewer. I work for Hubble Gas Connectors and Accessories. We now changed to HGUS. I'm a product manager, so anything above ground, that's your risers, your MSAs, any of the steel products, we make all that for the natural gas industry. So we have a big presence. Most of the utilities you'll see running around here buy from us. They're our customers. And that's you. That's what I do. Been there about 5 years.
Excellent group. We run across them throughout the whole country. And an old friend of mine, Barry, out of Wisconsin, I just mentioned, who's up in Wisconsin? And I forgot the name for a second. Josh goes, Barry. I'm like, yep, that's it, Barry. Just saw him. I saw Barry. I ran into him somewhere weird, like California. Something like that. He's all over.
We have a facility in California, so in my position, I deal with sales directly. I'm really kind of the person they go to for if they need help with engineering, if they need help with pricing, and we help develop new products. I kind of got my hands in a lot of different baskets. So yeah, I work with Barry. I work with Mike Dabrowski, our other guy you might have met, and Barry came on whenever we acquired Lyle. So so that's where we got Barry from, and he's an excellent resource.
He's a good guy. He's a great guy. Where are you out of? Where's your home base?
Well, I'm actually out of Tulsa. I work for the corporate out of the corporate office.
Okay.
I'm in
So,
Tulsa a lot.
Are you?
I sit on the board of the Oklahoma Gas Association.
okay.
So I'm
okay.
involved there. So I'm there, I don't want to say every month, but board meetings used to be every month, and they were a lot of times in Tulsa.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing you're not there now because I think the temperature today is 114 or something. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
It's
I'm
insane.
out of Dallas Fort Worth, just a little south, and I think it was 111 today. My wife was saying,
Ooh.
that's hot.
Let's hope the air conditioning and the power grid stay up
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah,
For sure,
especially
for
so.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, how's LGA going? How's this event been for you?
Oh, good. So this is my first year back since COVID. I don't know if the event happened the last couple of years or not.
It happened last year, and it was a tough year because a lot of the utilities were on restrictions, and then the year before is virtual. So really, this is the first year back since 2019.
Okay. Well, I think 2019 is the last time I came. It was a different facility last time.
Yeah, it's at the Crown Plaza.
Yeah.
It was at the Crown Plaza, which is small. We outgrew it, so that's why we moved down here.
Yeah, it's a good turnout this year. I mean, they don't let me out the office very often, but I've been fortunate to come here
This is a
twice
good
now.
one.
So, but met a lot of good people, good folks, and I've enjoying it.
Good.
Deal. Josh, appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
Tell
Appreciate
Barry
it.
we
Have a
said
good
hi
rest
when
of
you
the
see him, please,
I will
would you?
tell them. It's nice meeting you guys.
Take care. We come back as we're just walking by. Sarah brought you over. Do us a favor, introduce yourself to the audience, tell them who you are and who you're with, and give us something unique about your company and how it impacts positively our industry. How does that sound? Easy as pie.
I am Wilfred Barry. I am second generation in SJB Group, a company founded in 1953 by my father. Those are the initials, Simmons J. Barry. We're SJB Group, based in Baton Rouge. We have an expanding presence in compliance that was given to us a booster when Robert Bourne, retired from Energy Gas Distribution, joined our firm. So we are now more and more capable of helping clients with compliance issues like DEMP plans, OQ, making sure plans are geo-referenced. We have now gotten into GIS solutions because everything about being compliant is tracking your records and making your records up to date and findable. So there's a PDF you can download, Small Operators. It's a guidance manuals for how small gas distribution systems can stay compliant. In that PDF, which is about 60 pages, records, the word records is mentioned 41 times. 41 times. And it's all driven by what has been evolving over time, the Part 192, 4, 5, 3 regulations that govern our industry. 41 times. That's a trivia question.
That was a good one.
Use on somebody.
I'm going to use that one.
I'm going to use it
Go
tonight.
back to ask Brian Dressel that question.
Oh, I think I will. That'll be good. Or Steve Allen.
Ooh, Steve Allen.
You have been associated with the LGA for a few years. We've seen each other, I think, over the last 14 years every year, correct? I would say so.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a long time.
This is our first year, just for the record.
Who's first year? Oh, yeah, he's new. He's a newbie to it,
Brand new.
yep. But,
Here's
What-
a trivia piece.
Let's
I
do
wanna
it.
Give you.
please.
The LGA was started by operators of gas systems in Louisiana. I don't know what other states were doing that. My father, after the war, an engineer, followed pipelines that were getting converted from products in the war effort of World War II on the Gulf Coast to the Northeast and shipping on into the war effort across the pond. So a lot of those product pipelines were repurposed as natural gas pipelines. And he followed the gas pipelines as they crossed this county, that county, near that town, that city. He went in and knocked on doors and got gas systems built. At that same time, it was relatively new, but that was when revenue bonds became very, very popular. And you have property taxes, but these are construction improvements to build out these gas systems that were financed with debt, to which the proceeds, the revenue of the gas systems were pledged to pay off the bonds.
Interesting.
And so, but anyway, to continue forward, he decided to build his own gas system because he had been designing them on the west bank of St. Charles Parish. In the 50s, he started his gas system. He sold out to Louisiana, LGS, Louisiana Gas Service, which is now part of Atmos. But the funny thing was, he was very passionate. He was a Democrat and a good one, and all about public good. But he was very passionate about operators coming together. The first several presidents of the LGA was the manager of his gas system.
Really?
Yes. Alan Ray was several times the LGA president. I mentioned Robert Bourne. Robert Bourne has been active
I know.
30, 40 years,
Yeah.
and he has been president.
I haven't seen Robert.
Robert is semi-retired, and he and his family have a camp now on the Mississippi, Louisiana, estuarine, you can call it, area.
Okay.
And so this week, for 2 weeks, he had family coming and going. He may be here later on in this week.
But
anyway, so we've been very active. We've been members of the LGA in one form or another, by one organization or another, oh gosh, for 40 or 50 years. And that's
Thank you.
it. Signing off. I wish
Thank
you all the
you.
best.
Outstanding.
Yes.
Hey, you heard it here first. Great job.
Scott Rapture. We'll be back.
He's off like a shot. James, we have just been overpowered. I was ready to go to a session. Lindsay yells from across the. Whoa.
Across the careful.
Careful.
We're a safety company.
We're safety. Everybody be safe. We're coming, she says. We're coming to join the podcast, and here they are. So please go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us what.
Go.
Dana Brown Buxus.
And Houston Hazmat. I'm Lindsay Sander with Sander Resources, among other things.
Katie Henry, Sander Resources.
Okay.
Among other things.
Among other things.
Same.
Tell us one benefit that you all bring to the industry.
Really creative thinking.
Okay. Creative thinking.
I'm a user of the creative thinking.
A user of the creative thinking.
You better have a good answer.
Yeah, I don't.
Shooting from the hip.
I'm the fun one.
Oh, that
Hey.
is valuable. I'm also the fun one. Just kidding. You are.
Wow.
We make things lively.
How first time at LGA?
Yes.
No.
No.
Yeah. Veterans, newbies. He's a newbie
I'm a
too.
newbie too.
You guys are getting
Really?
your LGA feet under you.
Is this seriously your
Definitely
first
feel
time?
like the outsiders here, huh? Like everybody has all these inside jokes. Probably not here.
On LinkedIn, Coffee
We
Jim
saw
and
you at
James. That's where you see them.
We probably saw you at TGA.
TGA,
No, I went to TGA.
OGA,
Last year.
SGA, AGA. Yep.
Probably.
We'll figure that out.
Okay.
We're gonna workshop that. It's awesome here. Awesome events.
We love it.
Tons of traffic. Tons of awesome sessions. We got one right now that Jimmy's got to get to.
That's
We're
it?
running late.
Pretty
You
great.
have the most interesting person here
No.
standing next to you
Move
that
on.
you could ever
Move on.
imagine.
Make it happen.
No. She flies Apache helicopters.
Well, tell
Nobody
us.
cares about that. We're at a
We
pipeline
do.
conference.
That's kind of interesting.
Oh,
For,
it's like name another woman that's 5 feet tall that flies Apache longbows.
and is that for what are we doing with that? Leak detection?
For the U.S.
Sure.
military?
Yeah, I mean, you could. We got cameras.
She can shoot missiles with her eye.
Are you okay? Wait a minute. Are you
We're off
active in the
topic.
military right now?
No, I just got out.
We have one of our clients walking by.
We're way off topic. We are
Yeah.
way off topic.
Way off.
We've lost control at this point.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to lean into this another
Wow.
time.
Yeah.
We have an
The next
Apache
event.
helicopter pilot with us. I didn't know that. I thought you were joking at first.
No. Why would I lie to you?
Well, I knew she was part of the hazmat division for Texas, which is
Houston
true.
Fire Department hazmat team.
Okay, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's something in the city, in the area of Houston, that would be something that unfortunately could be used a lot.
Yeah, we have a lot of emergencies. Looks like you need to go.
We're okay. We're okay.
Listen, thank you so much for being on.
You're
For the short
welcome.
amount, we're gonna have to make another shot at this, a longer one, another attempt for another day.
We
All
really
right.
appreciate your time. We love seeing you guys. Jim and I have been friends for a long time.
We have been. Yeah.
So we appreciate it.
Yeah, we've been friends back to our, I think, TGA days, Texas Gas.
Way, like more than a decade. I
Yes,
think.
it
Probably
has
close
been.
to a decade.
Yeah.
It's good having friends on.